Hello Retro Gamers and welcome to another review for Retro Game On. Today we're checking out Wave Race 64, released in 1996 by Nintendo EAD. Being first party Nintendo goodliness in the mid 1990s and all, it was of course released on the Nintendo 64. The 64 lamely added to Wave Race is a good hint also. In an original turn of events, the racing isn't actually partaken on a boat, but instead on jet skis. I don't know if jet ski racing is a real thing or not, and frankly I don't care enough to Google it, but let's find out if Wave Race 64 is as fun as it looks. Nintendo EAD is yet to disappoint me.
2, 1.
I doubt there were any jet ski racing games before this, at least in the 3D spectrum, but I'll firstly get out of the way that this started off the genre of a bang. This game does quite a lot right, not very much wrongly. Hell, you don't even have to watch any more of this review. I'll recommend Wave Race 64 right now. So go on, leave this video and buy it. All you would do is ruin my audience retention statistics. Or don't. Buying games without knowing anything about them should only be reserved for the top 1% and sad sacks like myself who buy them for reviews. No, stay a while longer and get comfy. Go on, have my last beer. Why is it cool you ask? The tech. Most likely the first thing you'll recognise as you play is the physics. The waves feel naturally correct. You skim across them if you go fast, yet you feel like you're dragging Shia LaBeouf's career behind you if you land hard after a jump or generally move slowly. It feels like real water, and that's the biggest thing that stands out to me since I hear it's a huge pain to perfect, even for modern games. Since the waves play such a huge role in the handling for this game, it's a relief they were done correctly. The jet skis can be controlled very much like a real one. Probably. I've never actually ridden a real one to be honest, I'm just guessing as I'm not a FIFO worker. Australian viewers will get that joke. You can't turn unless you're accelerating, which is weird since you need to accelerate to turn, to then brake so you don't go flying off in the wrong direction. But honestly it doesn't take that long to get used to. It does mean you can pull off some tight turns however, which is helped by holding the joystick downwards. It takes into account real life physics of a human on a jet ski surprisingly well, so you're basically moving around the center of gravity to help you in your endeavors. For example, if you want to fly high off a jump, you can shift your center of gravity backwards, but you can alternatively shift it forward to take the jump lower. This all reacts with the water in an entirely convincing manner, which makes it surprising that this game rised out of 1996. I won't dwell too much on how ahead of its time it is, but there simply wasn't much out there like this at its release. The gameplay is split between 3 gameplay modes: Championship, Time Trial, Stunt Mode, and a 2-player versus mode. Championship mode is as expected, but with one twist. You'll race the opponents like normal, but the course is laden with buoys that must be navigated like an slalom skiing event. Every time a buoy is successfully navigated, you'll level up increasing the jet ski's engine speed. Miss just one however, and the level gets reset to 0. If you miss 5 in a single race, you'll be disqualified. Many reviewers seem to hate this, but I disagree since the movability of the jet skis is so abnormal. It adds a welcome layer of gameplay to the races in my books, and rewards you well if you consistently navigate the buoys correctly. As you start, you'll be stricken by the politeness of the jet ski select screen.
Select your watercraft, please.
Where you can choose a character and a jet ski. Here you can also tweak how the character plays if that's your thing. In my limited experimentation though, fiddling with these settings didn't seem to change very much. As you start the normal difficulty mode, you'll get a chance to play a warm-up level to get a feel for the jet skis, which is only recommended so you can hang out with some cute little dolphins. From there, whatever you place in each race earns you a certain amount of points, which will decide if you get to continue or not. Finishing normal mode will unlock hard mode, which will then unlock expert mode. Be warned that the difficulty is ramped up quite a bit even between normal and hard modes. The waves get rougher and the amount of buoys increase, but this is great for replayability as you continue to hone out your skills and be continuously challenged. The time trial mode is as expected and nothing to get excited about, but the stunt mode is quite a lot of fun. You're again playing in the same levels as the championship mode, but in this you'll be performing tricks off ramps and riding through rings to score points. It should be noted that you can perform tricks while racing in championship mode too, but as far as I can tell it doesn't add anything to the races besides from making you look like a show-off wanker. Plus, while performing tricks there's always a risk of stacking it, so it was never worth the risk for me. Crashing is not advised at all, as one slip up can easily ruin the race for you, especially in the harder modes. For the most part, this game is well presented. The graphics were absolutely showing what the N64 was capable of at the time, especially when it came to the waves with all the physics and the maths and all the other shit that went into those. The draw distance is particularly good too, besides from a sparse amount of pop-up that is hardly worth writing home about, considering it's a fully 3D game from 1996. While the music is on a Pilot Wing 64 level of lame, and the presenter will drive you nuts after 30 seconds with his happy-go-lucky attitude, the sound effects are actually quite good. I can't remember the last time I highlighted those in a review, but the sound effects really stood out to me as being fun and exciting. This really adds to the gameplay and nearly makes up for the presenter and the music.
Goal! You did it!
Wave Race 64 has aged well. Like, Patrick Stewart well. No, seriously. Go back and watch Star Trek The Next Generation and tell me how well that man has stayed perfectly 65 years old. Dare I say it? I think this game has the best graphics on the N64. And along with the unique racing mechanics and wave physics, this game is incredibly relevant and fun to play today. It was relaunched on the Wii's Virtual Console in 2007, but unfortunately the only sequel is Blue Storm, which was the launch title for the GameCube. I don't know if a new release would prompt me to buy a Wii U, but it's certainly a genre of racing that's mostly missing in the current gen gaming market.
Hello retro gamers, and like always, thanks for watching. The question of the day is, what's your favourite game that was way ahead of its time? I'm tempted to say Shenmue myself, but then again that's what everyone says. Anyway, if you want to stay updated with what I do, then may I please recommend a subscription. I also run pages on Facebook and Twitter too if you're into that sort of thing. Again though, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.